Welcome back to 52 Moments, where I answer things like,
What is wrong with you?
or,
How have you become so awesome?
or even,
Why are you so weird?
as best I can. Along the way, I hope you'll learn more about me. So let's get to it. This episode is called Judy Blume, Censorship, and Me, because it involves Judy Blume books and censorship. And me. Go figure. So, as a kid, I read a lot. And I quickly ran out of books that were, quote, age appropriate. So I just started climbing up to the next age group and so on and so on. By the time I was in grade 5, I was definitely into the Judy Blume books. I do not remember how I first got Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, but I know that it was the first Judy Blume book I got, whether it was a birthday gift or whether it was a Scholastic Book Fair purchase. I no longer remember. But it was the first of her books that I read, and I loved it. And if you're not familiar with it, it's basically all about puberty and friendship and how friendships change as you hit that sort of puberty age where girls get a bit weird with each other. There's stuff that goes on, and it's hard. It's hard to navigate that emotionally, and at the same time you're going through physical changes. It's hard. And this book really spoke to all of that, and it was one of the first books to do that, and I will forever be grateful for Judy Blume for that. So after that, I started working my way through the rest of the books that Judy had written and that others had written. I just realized I used first name basis for Ms. Blume. Sorry. But anyway, I was working my way through her books. And most of them I took out of the library because I read so much and so fast that I couldn't afford to keep buying books. So eventually I got to Then Again, Maybe I Won't. Now, if Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is about a girl hitting puberty, this one is about a boy hitting puberty. And that's where it got problematic. So when I walked into the school library, pulled it off the shelf, took it to the counter, the librarian told me no. And further, he actually took it and put it under the counter. I ended up leaving empty-handed and confused because he wouldn't give me a reason. He just said no. So I went home and told my parents over the dinner table. After we ruled out all of the other possibilities, like that I had too many books out, or they were doing inventory, or some weird thing like that, they decided that this was not going to stand, that if I hadn't been given a reason, I at least needed a reason for why. Now, the next part of this is a little blurry to me because I was 10. All I know is that either my mother or my parent or my father or both contacted the school, or actually I think went into the school. What I suspect happened is my mother went into the school and spoke with the librarian. I know both my parents had the same idea, so really this could be either or both of them going in. But their schedules didn't work that way, so I presume only one of them went. At any rate, when they asked why, they were told because it's for a boy. And my parents said, well, that's not a good reason. Give her the book. And there was some blustering, and, I think he probably tried to make other excuses, but eventually just gave up and allowed that I would be able to take out the book. He made an exception for me. Now, my parents weren't terribly happy about it being an exception, but that was the compromise. So I went in and I took it out and I brought it home and I read it. And yeah, at 13, he moves to a new town. He gets a crush on the girl next door, hence the creepy binoculars. That's a little problematic now. Anyway, one morning he wakes up with sticky pajamas. And as an adult, we all know what that means. But as a kid, it's pretty confusing. So I totally understand that he was feeling, like the librarian was feeling some secondhand embarrassment there. I don't know. Maybe he thought that only boys should read about boys' puberty and girls should read about girls' puberty. I am betting he wouldn't let a boy borrow Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which is also wrong. Anyway, the long and the short of it is that I read this one. I also enjoyed it. And that's why I still have a copy of both this one and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Like I've bought and sold more copies of these over the years than I can count. I often give them away to teenagers, but these particular versions are like some of the original printings, and I'm pretty sure the newer printings have been updated a little bit. Although I don't know if the binoculars still exist. I'm presuming they do. I would suggest reading them yourself before you decide if your kid can read them or not, or just be prepared for some discussions. My rule when my kid was growing up was if you can reach it, you can read it, to which they said, you know, I can get a ladder, right? I'm like, yep. Like, I honestly had no restrictions. And the funny part of that was the day that I found my kid reading Deschooling. So, you know. Anyway, it means the effect that all of this had on me is that I have kind of, ever since then, been fascinated by the reasons people ban books or try to ban books, the reasons things are censored, and I will seek them out, either to read them or to give them a home or to share them with others. I am the same with films. If something has been challenged or banned, you know I'm going to want to see it. It's pretty much the, you know, oppositional side of me. Tell me no, and that's where I'm going. So now you know one reason I am like I am. Stick around, tune in next week, and we'll see what another reason is. Thanks for coming to 52 Moments.